Have you ever laughed so hard that your eyes suddenly start filling with tears? Not sad tears, just tears, streaming down your face while you're laughing, and suddenly everyone around you says something like, "Are you okay? Why are you crying? Did that joke hurt you?" And now you're stuck trying to explain something that doesn't even make sense. Because you're not sad, you're actually having a great time. So why does this happen? And more importantly, is there actually a way to stop crying when you laugh? Psychology says yes, but the reason it happens in the first place is actually far more interesting than most people realize. When you laugh, your brain activates a powerful emotional network called the limbic system. This system controls many emotional reactions in the body: joy, sadness, fear, and crying. Now, normally, your brain keeps these reactions separate, but when an emotion becomes very intense, something unusual can happen. The signals begin to spill over into each other. Psychologists call this phenomenon dimorphous expression, studied by researcher Oriana R. Aragon. It means your brain sometimes expresses one emotion using signals from another emotion. For example, people sometimes smile when they're extremely nervous. Some people laugh when they're uncomfortable, and some people cry when they're overwhelmingly happy. Your brain isn't confused, it's simply releasing emotional pressure. In other words, when laughter becomes very intense, your body sometimes opens the tear response as a way to regulate that emotional surge. Think of it like a pressure valve. There's another reason tears appear when you laugh hard. Laughing triggers a strong physical reaction in your face and breathing. When you laugh intensely, your eyes squeeze shut, your cheeks lift, your breathing becomes irregular. All of this puts pressure on the tear glands around your eyes, and those glands respond by releasing tears. So in many cases, the tears are simply a mechanical reaction to the muscles used during strong laughter. This is why the tears often appear when you're laughing really hard, not when you're just chuckling. Not everyone cries while laughing, but some people do it almost every time they laugh hard. Why? Psychologists believe it often relates to emotional sensitivity. People who feel emotions deeply tend to have stronger emotional feedback loops in the brain. This means their emotional responses activate faster, build stronger, and release more intensely. So if you're someone who cries when laughing, it often means your emotional system is simply very responsive, which is not a flaw. In fact, many studies link emotional responsiveness with higher empathy and stronger social connection. Even though it's normal, crying while laughing can sometimes feel embarrassing, especially when you're in public, you're in a meeting, or you're trying to explain something while laughing, and the tears just keep coming. The good news is that psychologists and therapists have identified several techniques that can reduce the reflex. These methods work because they interrupt the emotional feedback loop between your brain, breathing, and facial muscles. Here are several methods that people report actually helping. 1. Reset your breathing. One of the biggest triggers for laughing tears is uncontrolled breathing. When you laugh hard, your breathing becomes rapid and irregular. This keeps the emotional response escalating. To interrupt this, do something simple. Take one slow breath through your nose and then slowly exhale through your mouth. Just one or two slow breaths can calm the nervous system and reduce the tear reflex. Many people say this is the fastest way to regain control. 2. Relax your eyes. When laughter makes your eyes squeeze shut tightly, it increases pressure on your tear glands. A small trick is to open your eyes wider and relax your forehead muscles. It sounds simple, but it breaks the muscle pattern that triggers tears. Some people also briefly look upward or blink slowly, which helps reset the eye muscles. 3. Briefly look away from what's making you laugh. Your brain keeps the laughter cycle going when it keeps receiving the same stimulus. So if a friend keeps making jokes and you're already crying from laughing, simply look away for a few seconds. That short break often gives your brain enough time to calm the emotional surge. Many comedians even notice this effect in audiences. If people maintain eye contact with the joke source, laughter continues longer. 4. Ground your attention. Another surprisingly effective method is grounding your attention in something neutral. For example, look at an object in the room. Focus on a simple detail like a shape, color, or sound. This briefly shifts activity in the brain away from the emotional center, and that interruption helps the laughter response settle down. For most people, crying while laughing is completely harmless, but there is one rare neurological condition called pseudobulbar affect. This condition causes uncontrollable laughing or crying that doesn't match the person's emotions. However, it is very different from normal laughter tears. If you only cry when laughing very hard, that's simply emotional overflow. Nothing is wrong with your brain. So if you're someone who cries when laughing, your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's actually doing the opposite. It's responding very strongly to joy. Your emotional system is simply powerful enough that sometimes it spills over. And with a few small techniques, breathing control, relaxing your facial muscles, looking away briefly, and grounding your attention, you can usually stop the tears before they start. But the next time it happens, don't be too embarrassed, because crying from laughter is actually one of the most human emotional reactions we have. It means something was funny enough to overwhelm your brain with joy. And honestly, that's not the worst problem to have. If this video helped you understand it better, let me know in the comments. I'd also love to hear if these techniques actually helped you control it. And if you enjoy learning about psychology and how the mind works, consider subscribing for more videos like this.